Ladies and gentle germs, gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome to our favorite episode of the week. It's the Friday Q&A session at the CryptoManiacs podcast. I'm John Go. That's Task. And Task, I got new glasses, man. I'm not walking around with a smashed piece of glasses, so I'm feeling very professional.
Yes, I'll be honest with you. I didn't see the broken glasses, but then that's probably because I need new glasses. But anyway, I mean, it's if it
Wood
makes you
grain.
feel better and helps your confidence, that's all that matters.
I feel like $1,000,000 or a million hive at least.
Million HBD.
HBD, yes, because a million hive would only be $500,000, give or take.
Very
There you
good.
go.
Very good.
Price, and it's funny because we'll dive right into the questions. I named the what's the price of rice? That's what I named the show. What's the
Interesting.
price of right? Because we're gonna talk price. No, we're not. We'll try not to, but we'll see what you guys wanted to talk about.
Are we going to talk about rice?
Rice? Yeah, let's talk about the price of rice.
Okay.
I don't know. Hi, my path to fire. Welcome to everybody checking out live streams. We are on Vim, we are on YouTube, and we will be uploaded for your viewing pleasure on Three Speak later. Of course, always on the Hive blockchain because we love Hive. Anyways, let's dive into the questions. First one's up is Dev Press. He wants to know: do you think Hive will survive the coming recession? What are the possibilities from you guys? I guess that's price. Maybe is that price of rice question?
I was he asking, will the price hold up or will the network survive?
Right.
I mean,
The actual blockchain, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's no reason for the network not to survive. The witnesses are paid out in HBD, I believe, right? Isn't that correct?
Yeah. No.
Oh, high power.
High power. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's first off, one thing we have to keep in mind about markets are about capital flow. Markets are not necessarily driven by the economy. So the economy can tank and the stock market can go up, or the U.S. stock market can go up. In fact, that's what I think is going to happen is the U.S. stock market will be the worst, the best house on the worst block type scenario. So would you rather be in U.S. equities or Japanese equities or British equities, or, would you rather be in something overseas, or would you rather be in the U.S., or maybe the U.S. is overseas to you, depending on where you are. But that's where we see capital flow, the flight to safety. So as I've said all along, cryptocurrency is a risk on, risk off. And we just have to watch what the markets are, but they're not necessarily indicative of the economy, because the markets can head down, the economy can be going up, or vice versa. In fact, recessions, the markets, the equity markets, and this is based on historical study, they will bottom about halfway through a recessionary cycle and start appreciating and be going up long before the recession ends. So you have to keep that in mind. Now, will Hive, I don't know what will happen to the price of Hive. What will the Hive ecosystem survive? Yeah, because Blaine's not going to stop building. John's not going to stop building. I'm not going to stop building. Block Trades is not going to stop doing what he does. They call me Dan, and Starkers are going to keep doing what they do. Disregard's going to do what he does. They call me Brian. I mean, all the guests we have on these shows, they still do what they do. So, they haven't been flushed out yet. They're not going to be flushed out.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's exactly it. I mean, no one's stopping a single thing. And this is what's so cool about Hive is that you've seen the track record of Hive actually producing amazing things during bear markets, during the pullbacks, when everyone hates crypto. That seems to be when Hive is still trucking. Because I think everyone here on this blockchain looks at the bigger picture. Not everyone, but majority of people look at what is being built on Hive, how it taps into so many amazing different communities and niches and topics and passions, and they want to be a part of it. And when you have that, the beating of the dead horse, the development, the use case in the community, prices, whatevs. So, yeah. Anyways, what will Hive survive the upcoming recession? Absolutely.
I
Not
guess we could have
financial
just
advice.
answered it with that one word and gone on.
Yeah, no, it's good to dive into things, man. Speaking of
Yeah.
diving into things,
Especially when we're not ranting. Is this a
yeah, we're
rant
not
free
ranting. Nope.
day?
Right, Tuesday's show. If you guys haven't listened to episode 104 of the CryptoManiacs podcast, wow, that was good. We had a lot of.
Have you asked him? It was probably one of Blaine's favorite shows.
I think. Well, he's actually driving. He had to drive to Chicago this week, so he was on the road all week. But I'm sure he'll have it in his MP3 player. He'll even have MP3 players anymore in his phone.
Yeah. I think the iPhone replaced that.
Yeah, I know. Jimmy is up. We love Jimmy. Everyone loves Jimmy. This is an awesome post. This was an awesome post by Taskmaster, and it would be awesome to cover this episode of the CryptoManiacs. So the title of this post was in form of a question, and asking that question: who is going to build everything app on Hive?
Are you asking me, or are you asking that in rhetorical sense? I don't have the answer. That's why I wrote the damn post.
That's why he wants you to dive into it, because he said it was an awesome post by you.
Oh, okay. He wants explanation. You're asking a question, and it's like, I don't know, John. You asked a question. I don't know. That's the point of the post. I didn't know. For those who haven't read the post, basically, this is taken off of the idea of Elon's X app, everything app, which, for those who don't know, Elon did not just buy Twitter to be a free speech social media network. He is part, or was part of, what's called the PayPal mafia. He was one of the earlier players in that. Him and Peter Thiel and a bunch of other guys who became mega billionaires out of it. And what he, at that time, what it was reported is that everybody knows PayPal's a payment system, but Elon had much bigger visions. Now, he was overruled by the other people involved, and X was actually, when Elon Musk left, was property of PayPal. Now, he has bought X from, or X app, or whatever you want to call it. He has bought that name. He's bought the rights to that from PayPal, evidently. So he's creating the X app, which is going to be a lot more than just social media. It'll be a lot more than payments. I have theorized that he is going to build, basically, he's looking at building the Hive financial network on Twitter. He's going to offer all types of services like E-Trade and Scottrade and lending and Rocket Mortgage. He'll probably offer mortgage originations, and then he'll get into things like dating apps and TikTok type videos and all this stuff. He's going to try to build WeChat, but on steroids there. And so what I've done is I've taken the approach, all Twitter is a centralized database with a front end. Hive's a decentralized database with many front ends. And so we have all these different projects working on different things. So the question is, who of these project teams is going to realize anytime anybody comes up with something to integrate it? Because what we have is we have these niche apps. And I'm not talking about community focus. You can still have your community focus where CTP is focused on affiliate marketing and business building. Leo Finance is, cryptocurrency investing and finance. STEM Geeks is science and math and stuff like that. Peak D is kind of general in nature. But see, all of them allow for long form blogging. All of them allow for commenting, upvoting, all that stuff. They allow you to see your wallet, anything that's on the blockchain, but they don't tie into Leo Threads. Leo Threads is microblogging on Hive. It's a base layer feature because it's used in the comment section. We cannot upload videos. To upload videos, you have to go to 3speak.tv. You can't do that through Peak D or Leo Finance or any of these others. You know, we don't have these applications that are incorporating everything that's available into it. How come you have to go to Wallet, Hotblog, and I was told Ecency allows you to utilize the internal exchange? You can't utilize the internal exchange through Leo Finance or PeakD or CTP or
Right.
StemGeeks. And this is, you know, this is again another base layer feature, the swapping of Hive for HBD, that's in the base code. And yet we don't have these applications because everybody's thinking about their own niche instead of saying we need to replicate Elon with the mindset of building the everything app. You know, anything that's on Hive, we incorporate into our front end. And then what you end up having is you'll end up having like a dozen different front ends that incorporate everything, which that's called resiliency. And of course, you can cater your application to whatever your community is. You don't have to necessarily make it a, you know, your long form blogging on CTP is going to be business building related. You don't want pictures of people posting their dinner there. That's fine. You know, that can go on PeakD, but you have the ability to, you know, get involved in these other aspects on chain. Hell, you could even set up a portion of CTP to be similar to Leica 2, where people can be on their phone and they can, you know, snap a picture of the sunset and post it. Okay, it doesn't come in the long form blogging section. It, you know, somehow posts maybe as a comment or something like that, or post to your quote Leo threads or Michael blogging, whatever you do, but you offer that feature. And that's the point of the article. And my question really is, what development team is going to pick up on this and say, wow? Because I think three things that we have in terms of mindset with Hive that I think needs to be adjusted is that's the first thing with the apps. Incorporate as much as you can, even if built out by other people. Number one. Number two, your token is a reflection of the value of your project, of your system. Do not try using it as a medium of exchange. Default to the stable coins for that. I think that's a very critical mindset that needs to be adopted by project teams and say, okay, you know, people say, what's the use case of our token? It's, well, it's a reflection of the value. Yes, you might have some use cases, but it's a reflection of the value of what we're building here. And I can't remember what the third thing was off the top of my head. I had no one, but it moved out of my mind. So, but that's the thing. Who is going to build this? What project team's going to take it on and say, you know what, we got all this interesting stuff going on, and people build it and just throw it out there. I mean, that's what you do. You build it and throw it out there. So why not incorporate it into your front end, into your application?
There you go. Good question, Jimmy. And Task dove in. So
I don't know what your thoughts are on it, John, but I mean, that's
how I have. Well, I mean, I see what you're saying. I mean, for me, it all comes down to if you can create something like that. Like I speak for I think 90%, let's say, of the community here. It's whatever it is, it's got to be simple. It's got to be easy to use. Ease of use is paramount. You can create something, but then you have to jump through hoops. It could be the everything app, and then you've got to jump through hoops to do what you want it to do, and that's not going to cut it. It, to me, whatever's created, developers really need to remember that 90% of us here are not the technical savvy types. We like to use the applications. We don't necessarily want a PhD in computer science to use it. So
no, and I'm not saying that. I mean, Leo Threads, you have to basically be pretty foolish not to be able to use it. There's a button that says Threads. It brings up the thread page, and then there's a button you press that says Thread, and a pop-up window shows up where you write your thread, and then you hit post. You know, it's not very difficult. I haven't used Leica 2, but I'm sure that feature is very simple to use. You take a photo and you maybe hit a button that says okay and pull up the
Post.
photo
That's it.
and post it. That you're right. That's what these things have to do. But you can incorporate that into a mobile app or a front end that can give multiple features. You just have different tabs or different drop down menus that allow you to switch back and forth between long form content, micro blogging, your Leica 2 Instagram type app if you want to integrate that in, and whatever else is out there.
There you go. Good stuff. Next up, we've got our friend. He says, just wondering, research published in August 2022 by a team of researchers at the University of Adelaide in Australia have discovered as many as 80% of tweets about the 2022 Russia-Ukraine invasion in its early weeks were part of a covert propaganda campaign originating from automated fake bot accounts. Given the setup of Hive and Threads, would this level of involvement automation be possible on Hive Threads?
You better have a lot of resource credits.
I was about to say, sure, if you have lots of resource credits. I mean, resource credits solves all problems or creates all problems. Who knows? What depends.
Well,
yeah.
I haven't read that research that this poster is alluding to, but it doesn't surprise me. First off, I don't care where you stand on Ukraine. You're reading propaganda. The only question is, are you reading the propaganda in English or in Russian? But both sides put out propaganda. That's what, there's in war, there's the physical fighting, but there's also the propaganda war. And so what is being stated here does not surprise me. I have no idea who's behind it and what they were doing. And maybe this was both pro West and Russian bots doing this. So yes, number one, you better have some resource credits. Number two, the other situation with Hive that we have to keep in mind, and maybe this will change as Hive gets bigger, I don't know. But you have the reputation number next to your name, which means your new username, which means nothing. It actually means more these days than it did a number of years ago when we had the voting bots and all of that stuff. But reputation, and they call me Dan talks about this a lot. Reputation means a lot. So, and he likes to use the example of Asidio. Nobody knows who the hell Asidio is. I mean, we don't know. I mean, we just know the name Asidio. But he's
guy who runs OCB.
Yeah, and he's on Twitter all the time, and he
does pods.
Dedicated to Hive. He's a witness. You don't know who that person is as an individual, but you know what the account is, and the account has
what it stands for, right?
Yes, and so a lot of that is, and maybe it's just because we're so small, but I think a lot of that is going to be the case in the future. And in fact, we talked, John and I, with block trades, and he has thought long and hard about different types of reputation systems and how to quantify that. And one thing about Hive is somebody can appear and post something, and John could pop in the comments there and say, I know the person behind this account, this person's real. Now, I may have no idea who the hell that person is, but it's kind of reputation to reputation. I know John. I know John's reputation. So if he vouches, quote unquote, vouches for this account, I'm apt to believe it because it's like I believe John. And, that's something that you have the capability on Hive. And again, maybe it's just because it's small. And if there were 300 million people or 300 million accounts, it'd be a little different story. But at the end of the day, like we said, you go back to those resource credits. And, the more activity online, the more expensive it gets to do that stuff. And then you have people all of a sudden calling them out and saying, listen, because that's the other thing. You set up an account on Hive. Yes, you can do it anonymous, but if one person or one account claimed like 300 tokens and set up 300 accounts, we'd be able to see that. And all of a sudden, it's like somebody would go through the blockchain and say, wait a second, all these 300 accounts are related to each other. You don't have that on Twitter.
Yeah, it's yeah. So it could happen, right? But you would have to get a whole bunch of resource credits. But then the validity of the accounts, like if this person even, you know what, to be honest with you, dude, I'm not so anti the reputation system. I know it was really looked down upon when the bots were everywhere here, the voting bots, but I think it's is about as good a system as you can come as is. Like I
It,
like it.
it,
I
it,
don't have a problem with it.
it's gotten better because over time, first off, like you said, the bots are removed. And as more people are moving towards and into the 70s, you've reputation of 70 or more, and 65, then 70. That's based upon their upvotes, and that shows who's active. That
Right.
shows who
Yeah.
really is consistent and putting up posts, and it's cumulative. So even though you're not earning a lot on every post, in the reputation, it keeps building and building and building. So the more activity you have and the longer you're around,
Right.
then you move from 70 to 71, 75. And for those who don't understand, you start at 25, and each layer up or down
Gets harder.
is twice as far as the first one. So going from 25 to 20, or going from 26 to 27, is twice the leap from 25 to 26. And same
Yeah.
thing from 71 to 72 is twice as long as 70 to 71. So, it gets progressively more difficult. And that's why I used to use the line 70, maybe it's even 65 now. As somebody who has a reputation like that, they're pretty serious.
You're in the 80 group, right? You're in the 80s.
On my main account, I'm in the 80s. Yeah.
Oh, you are just a beast.
Yeah, it's again it's the longevity. In my Leo account, I'm not, because that account hasn't been
Right.
around as long. So
I'm 79.05.
yeah,
So
so
I'm coming for you. No, I can never.
within the next 6 months, you'll be in the 80 crowd. And I don't know who's leading, who's the top is.
Well, it was
It was Ranchero.
no, it wasn't Ranchero, it was the other guy, the other account
Oh,
that he how come I can't think of it? Ranchero's account, the one he upvoted all the time. Anyways,
yeah.
I can't. Useless.
But I don't know. Tara's up there. I would presume Addicted somewhere in there.
Right. Yeah.
Just if I had to guess. I don't know who all is in there.
There you go. Good question though. Alex is up, and Alex is watching in the in the audience on Vim. He actually reminded me a half ago. He's like, "Dear sir, when see that post?" So thanks to him, I remembered to get the post out there. So, Alex wants to know, gentlemen, price don't matter. Crew member here, hodling till 2026 minimum. I salute it. Welcome. My question is about harnessing the power of you guys' consistency week after week, rain, shine, hurricane. Have you ever considered having ad space on the CryptoManiacs show for Hive projects to advertise on your show? I've thought about it. Now, this is not gospel. This is just stuff that I've learned over the years of creating content. When you're doing a podcast, that's one of the things they tell you. Open it up to ad space. The problem is finding that good medium. Like when we get 150 replays of this show, that's when I would say, okay, maybe now, or hitting 200 episodes, maybe then you that's how I would feel comfortable. Because I think if you jump into trying to get money from people right away and you haven't built the brand, like, yeah, we've built it. It's episode 165 today, and it's out there, but there's certain milestones I like to hit before I start going, hey guys, let's do that. So I think it's a great idea. It's something I've thought about. I just like picking and choosing when to do it instead of being that guy that's like, hey, I got a podcast, advertise for $20 a month. I mean, I don't want to be that guy. So I don't know how you feel, Tass, but I think it's the natural progression of podcasts once they reach a certain age and have a certain listenership. But we're still building this. I think it's a constant, and I wouldn't feel right until we're at least at episode 200 or like 150 replays per episode. That's me.
I see no need to do it. It just it just frustrates people. We're rewarded. I mean, John puts up the post, and the post can be upvoted, and that monetizes each episode. It's not a lot of money. I don't even know what we get on each episode, but whatever.
It's not a lot.
No, it's not a lot.
It used to be a lot. It's not anymore.
Yeah, well, the price of Hive has tanked. But again, we don't do this for the money. And my view is, it's like living in a community. And why do you pick up the trash when you're walking through your community? It's because you live in the community. Now, were you paid to pick up the trash? No. Could you pay somebody to come in and walk around and pick up trash? Yes. But the difference is John has a lot of Hive. I have a lot of Hive. We have CTP. We have Leo Finance. We have these different tokens. And the big thing about that is the more we put in, the more value that is going to be attributed to this stuff. And if CryptoManiacs is a resource center for people to find out what's going on, not only do John and I, allow people to ask the questions and take the time each Friday to answer these questions, we give our views on Tuesdays when we don't have guests. And then we try to have guests on, movers and shakers on Hive who are actually doing stuff. And we keep expanding, and we keep looking for people we haven't had before, newer people. Next Tuesday, or this upcoming Tuesday, we got Mick Farhat, who's been on before, talking about ActiFit. And so it's a resource center. It's like Leo Glossary. I mean, all my Leo Glossary posts are decline in rewards. I've spent hours and hours, and most of my life, the last 3 months, building this thing, as Gadrian. I mean, he puts in time too, and we have other people interested in being involved, and we're not getting direct payouts out of this, but it builds to the whole thing. And so, to get $20 a month out of some ad that you run every 15 minutes of the show or something, all that's going to do is piss people off. And we get a little high power when you all upvote the posts, when John puts them up, and that's what's appreciated. And I don't even know if he 50-50s the post or whatever, but he sets me as a beneficiary, and we share it. And it's not making us rich, but hey, we don't do this show. We didn't start this show to say, hey, let's figure out a way to make money off of this.
Right.
This is part of you do a lot of stuff not to be monetized. John and I have tremendous followings. Our posts tend to get upvoted very well. Why do we have to try to nickel and dime and monetize every little thing that we're doing on the blockchain? I don't agree with that.
I think the attractive thing for me is that the majority of our replays are not on Hive. We might get 5 to 10 people on Hive that watch it on 3Speak or attend the Vim. Where we get the most exposure is Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So that is not to monetize that, but the reach. That's attractive to advertisers. An advertiser would like that reach and the audience that's being built here. So that's where I would stand on that. Not necessarily on Hive. I agree with you completely. Like on Hive, it's upvoted. You upvote it. It doesn't cost you anything with an upvote. Guess what? It regenerates and you get it back. So on Hive, yeah, I totally.
Same with your resource credits.
Yes. Resource. You need resource credits. Everyone buy resource. Yes. So. Anyway, it's a good question.
Buy resource credit. Holy shit, John! We got new customers, new people on here. They're going to be on Hive Engine searching resource credits.
Not resource, Hive, and power it up for all the new listeners. Yes.
Yes, Hive, not Swap Hive either. Don't buy it on.
Well,
if you buy it on Hive Engine, use Hive Pay to convert it over from Swap Hive to Hive. That's HivePay.io. Here's your advertisement, John. HivePay.io. And
Yeah, for our 0.2% fee.
yeah.
So yeah, no, for sure. It's a good question though, Alex. Appreciate it. Tokenizes up. Hello, maniacs. Happy November. Happy November. My question today is about Hive Power. Fancy that. Do you still get that 3% APR on HP that is delegated to others, or does that apply to Hive Power that you own and is not delegated? That goes right in. Well, it goes into your pocket, but it's delegated to the person. So you're still earning it. You're still earning that 2.8 whatever percent it is now, but it goes to the wherever the Hive Power is delegated. So if you say delegate 1,000 Hive Power to Leo Voter, you're getting that 2.85%, but it's delegated the 1,000 to
Yeah. So at the
Hive.
end of the year, what John's saying is that delegation will be worth 1,002.85 Hive Power.
Yes. So
But
you're earning it, but it's whoever you have it delegated to, it goes to them.
yeah,
If that
because
makes
if
sense.
you look
Yeah.
if you look in PT, you have your Hive power, and then underneath you have your delegation. Well, both of them go up by 2.85% per year. But obviously, the first number is your total. The delegated number is what you have outstanding. So,
Exactly. Yeah.
but it's still your Hive Power. So when you go to undelegate, instead of undelegating 1,000, you're going to undelegate, the 1,000 plus the 2.85 extra Hive Power.
Tass said it a lot cleaner than I did. I was a little tongue-tied there, ladies and gentlemen. Apologize. But yes, as soon as you undelegate that Hive Power, it goes back to your account. So
Just to expand on that, John, for anybody who doesn't know, anything you do with Hive Power, as soon as you power that up, it's yours.
Yes.
So no matter what happens, you always have ownership. Any benefits that are tied to that Hive Power are yours from the ownership standpoint. Now, obviously, delegating the Hive Power, you lose the voting power. And you also lose, we'll call it the resource credit power, or the power to the ability to engage in the blockchain, because the value tied to that Hive Power and resource credits obviously goes to the person you're delegating to. But anything that in terms of the value or the ownership of this, it's like people say, well, if I delegate it out when I vote for witnesses, does that still count? Yes, it's still your Hive Power. It's still you voting your Hive Power, even if you delegate it out.
This is why Hive Power is the greatest thing ever created. But I'm a little biased. Are you biased about Hive Power, sir?
I'm biased more towards HBD, but we figured we cover both coins. So John's Hive Power, I'm HBD, and we got it covered. So Hive's a wonderful place.
Perfect. And Tokutaro22 wants to know anything. Do you know anything about November 28th? Some clue. I know this date is etched in history. This is when fun things happen in the CTP tribe. I cannot divulge anything else. I've sworn to secrecy by Blaine.
When did that ever stop you?
I know, but I'm honoring his demands, not even wishes. His demands this time.
Okay, what did he threaten to do to you if you did not adhere?
Listen, this guy might live in another country, but I do not doubt he has a drone sitting on top of my house right now aimed at me.
Either that or he has like malware that he installed on your computer that
click this. It's our new project, John.
That he can clean out your bank account or something, and take all your money.
He wants my active keys all of a sudden. I wonder why. He
doesn't even need to ask for them. He just got them out of your Hive keychain.
Right. Yeah. So November 28th is going to be a lot of fun for the CTP tribe. The not financial advice. I didn't say a word. Is that CTP tokens are pretty cool. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, that's all I can divulge. I'm sworn to secrecy.
I have no idea what the hell he's talking about.
I know.
So I can't answer this question.
I know. Oops, wrong one.
At least it wasn't a Splinterlands question. So
there was no Splinterlands questions today. That's crazy.
I know you're Jones, and what's going on with Splinterlands?
I don't even, dude. I've been so busy this week. I haven't even looked. I haven't played many matches.
Wow.
Apparently Rooney had its public launch. I don't even know how it went. All the big money bag guys like Agrode and Gold Matters are out on Twitter showing off all their Roonies. I'm sitting there with my one little Rooney because of all the Ethereum it costs. These guys got like 30 Roonies. It's like almost half an ETH each for these things. And these guys have got like 30 of them. I'm just sitting there with my little peon self with my little one Rooney. And it figures the Rooney that I do mint is as common as it gets.
Yeah, you said it's like totally vanilla.
Totally like not even a sprinkle of like chocolate chips on top. It's as vanilla as it gets. That's my luck. Biggest Splinterland fanboy, rave about it, talk about it all the time. I'm so excited. I get in on Rift Watches. I get in on Rooney. Wah, wah, wah.
You go through what, 4.5 days of MetaMask nightmare?
Smashing my keyboards. Again, thankfully, I have a Mac, so it's half metal. So it didn't totally break. Anyways, that's my rant for the day. So we did get some Splinterlands content in.
And we got a rant in.
Yes. This is a shorter than normal episode. Reason I have to go get to my son from school. He's only got a half day of school on Friday, which is very rare. He doesn't go to schools on Fridays. It's usually Thursdays he goes to school. He has Fridays off. But this week they're school Friday, so it's kind of throwing a monkey wrench. But we had to get the show in. 5.
Oh well. Enjoy the time, because another 10 or 12 years you'll be picking them up at the police station.
Well, my first son is okay. He's 21 now, and he didn't end up in jail. So I got 3 sons. So I'm praying, crossing my fingers, that 1 out of 3 maybe gets that way. The 2 of them are.
I mean, I speak from a little experience here. It's easy to it's easier to fracture an occasional law or 2. I mean, they got so many that you have to obey, and it's like add in a little alcohol and a few crazy women, and it's like, well, few chances at some easy money. I mean, it's
I have stories. We'll save that for another podcast.
Next episode, John and I will be comparing our arrest records.
Comparing our younger year records. So, guys, have a fantastic weekend. Be good to each other. Again, we got McFarhat from ActiveFit, one of my favorite apps that I use almost every single day on my phone, mobile. Yay. He will be here on Tuesday. And then we've got Crimson Clad on the 22nd. All-star, superstar witness, and OG of the Hive blockchain. So that'll be awesome having her on as well. And a fellow Canadian. Will you be okay with another Canadian on the show?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll hopefully by the 22nd, hopefully it'll be like just butt-ass cold up there. So if you guys
it's freezing already. Are you kidding me?
I'll just say, by the way, it's 82 degrees down here in the tropics. How are you two doing?
She's in the warm part of the country. I'm in the freezing cold part.
So is she?
It's already a tundra here. The snow everywhere. It's miserable. I hate it. Past 24 hours, 36 hours, it's just been miserable here. So.
And when do you see like the grass again? Like April? May?
Late April. Yeah. And that's still not a guarantee. If it's an extra long winter, you can get into May. No problem with snow still. Yeah, it's awful. Anyways, that's for another show too. So we have criminal show, and then we've got the whining about the weather show coming up. So guys, thank you very much for listening. Be good to each other, and we will see you on Tuesday.